Hello, welcome everyone. I am Sarah Snell Cooke, your host here at the Credit Union Connection. I'm joined today by Tami Brandenburg. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
And Tami is the Vice President of Member Service at Dupaco Credit Union. And Benjamin Conant, welcome.
Hey, Sarah, great to be here.
Yeah, Alkami's Chief Product Officer. So, Tami, I want to start with you because this is actually a really cool story because there's so many credit unions that are having issues with growth and particularly deposits right now. So,
Yeah.
your credit union, 3.6 billion in assets. So it's a bigger credit union for sure. But you doubled your annual growth goal from the year before by Q3 of this year.
Right, right. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
how did that come about? How did that happen?
Well, you have to make things very easy for your membership. You have to make it so that you can meet them where they are and remove any friction. And prior to the omni-channel experience and having the automated approvals, it was a very manual process. And so someone could technically apply for an account on Friday night and not hear from us till maybe Monday afternoon as we were working through what was coming through the online channel. When you automate that and you automate those approvals, it speeds things up. And now members can move through that system so much faster. And you don't have the abandonment that you have when there's that manual process that gets in the middle of it. So with the omni-channel, the auto approvals, that really took off, just as well as other outside economic and pricing factors that you have to, that's normal part of business. But I do believe that with Mantle and the omni-channel experience, that's where some of our successes come from.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, simplifying anything makes it
Mhm.
makes it
Yeah.
better for everybody. And you said you
Yeah.
mentioned abandonments because that's always been a big issue.
Mhm.
How can you tell me any stats on that, how it changed?
I had that pulled up right here, but I can go ahead and pull up our abandonment rates. They're not near what they used to be. I think we're
Mhm.
running like in that high 80s, low 90%
Mhm.
start to finish getting booked to the core. So it's
Nice.
moving really well that way. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So Ben, tell us a little bit more about why this was possible, why this success was possible for Dupaco.
Well, I think you've got a technology partner. I mean, Tobacco's been a great partner to Mantle, just want to say, and Tami has been amazing as well. I think there was a spiritual alignment, there was alignment on goal, and just a really solid technology choice, right? The Mantle platform, it's an omni-channel platform. You can apply online and in branch. It all works through the same system, right? You can automate up to 100% of your applications. So if you don't want to do manual review, you don't have to, right? Now, a
Mhm.
lot of customers do want to do some manual review. There are legitimate edge cases that you want to give a little bit more care and feeding to, but the power of the platform is it allows you to decide how much of that you're doing.
Hmm.
And
Mhm.
as we saw in this case, all of these credit unions and banks around America, there's latent demand. There are folks who are probably going to the website and can't figure out how to apply for an account, or they look at it and they're like, I'm going to Chase. This is too
Mhm.
hard, right? And so you might not even know from the systems that you're running how much of that latent demand that you have, folks who are driving by, they're seeing your branches. Dupaco's got about, I think, 23 branches, right? So that's a big footprint and a lot of loyalty that you have in a community. So when you get your technology into a world-class place, into a place where customers and members are surprised, they're like, wow, this is really good. You're actually going to start capturing that. And that's how you start hitting goals in Q3 that were supposed to be year-long goals.
Mhm.
So it's a partnership. It's looking at the data. How can we use the data that's available on the internet to make the experience less difficult? It's retraining, it's deploying it into the branch. There's a lot of work that goes into it
Hmm.
on both sides.
Mhm.
Did you have any follow up on that, Tami?
Yeah, no, he's absolutely right. It was the automation and it was the letting stuff move through the system. If you pause your applications and you make people wait 2 or 3 days to get that account, I know what I do. If I'm online and somebody says, we'll call you Monday, I find the next one, right? Or I'm going to get that experience in real time. And so I think that's where it's made a huge difference for our members through the
Hmm.
process. Hmm.
For sure. And so, what other types of results are you seeing too? I imagine your team saved a lot of time as well.
Yeah. I think that in the behind the scenes where we're double checking account cards and all of the quality control pieces that we had in place definitely have probably almost a one FTE savings in that
Mm-hmm.
area. We've eliminated a lot of extra work that we had to do in our quality. We have a quality control checkpoint here for account accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
And as we got everybody out of the old manual system and into the Mantle system, we saw accuracy numbers come up, right? To
Mm-hmm.
where the errors aren't being issued like they used to. The accuracy is a big thing when you automate them and you keep them in that one contained system where they can't get too far off outside the buoys. I'm a boater, right? So you can't get too far outside of the buoys. That keeps things accurate. Saving time, definitely they're saving time. They're spending a lot less time like this and a lot more time up here, right? Talking to the
Mm-hmm.
members and connecting. So one of the things that we said that we had to go back and do now was engagement training and training on, because they got the counselor. I'm looking right now at my numbers. 4.75 is how long it takes to open a new account. 4.75 minutes. Well,
Mm-hmm.
what are we going to do with the other 45 that we used to spend, right? We're going to engage and we're going to cross sell. We're going to deepen that relationship. So we're doing a lot of training around that right now. So that creates a better experience for both the employee and the member, because
Yeah.
it just makes everybody feel good.
Yeah, for sure. And you're probably booking more loans faster too. Since,
Yeah.
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 Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah,
So,
I think that's a really important point about the in-branch experience, right? So online, we talk a lot about it takes 5 minutes to open up a new account. I think it's important to understand that this is not just a consumer online build that we're talking about here, right? It's not
Mm,
just checking savings CD. We're doing IRAs, we're doing the types of accounts that typically people are coming into the branch for. And we're also
mhm.
doing accounts for businesses as well, right? So
mhm.
businesses are coming in. Now think about it, right? I'm a business, I'm coming in. That's a really valuable relationship for the credit union. You want to spend some time understanding the business, and there might be a whole suite of treasury management services and all kinds of things that you might want to offer to that business owner. If it's going to take 90 minutes of sitting in the branch, that's not a good experience. That's really like quite a bad first impression.
Done it. Yeah.
Business owners are, guess what? Busy, right? And they appreciate when things can go a little faster. And so with the Mantle platform, your employees, when they're interacting with these high value customers, they're getting a checklist, right? It's a digital checklist in the Mantle console that walks you through everything that you need to do in order to follow the rules, stay inside the buoys on opening up that specific type of account. And it might be a checking account, it might be an IOLTA, right? Like there's all kinds of different types of deposit accounts, and your branch employees might not remember how to open all of these, right? So a lot of the time that folks were taking previously is like, oh man, I got to go dust this off, or I got to go send an email to somebody who knows how to do this, right? The Mantle platform really does make it possible for really anyone to open these more specialty types of accounts. And it's a better experience for the business owner. And the really cool thing about omnichannel, right? And we've seen this across the platform is business owner comes in, they're opening up an account. Oh man, I've got an emergency. My kid called me. I got to go pick my kid up from the school because they fell into a
Mhm.
lake or something, right? Like this is life, right? It happens.
Right.
So now you're not going to lose that customer and they don't have to come back to the branch, right? You've developed a relationship. You can send them a link and they can finish their business application online. It's so powerful. And getting to these 93% submission rates of applications, which is the kind of data that we're seeing together, it's because of the power of omnichannel, right? It's so easy to pick something up. If you get confused online, you can go into a branch and they know exactly what you're doing. So really, this is the power of the platform on display. Love to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I did look up businesses, 14 minutes to open a business account, which is unheard of.
Yeah.
And that's start to booking. And if you have multiple people that have to sign, which often businesses do, they don't have to all be sitting there or driving over to sign. We're digitally sending out for those signatures. Our business owners really like that. They like that they don't have to stop what they're doing to come in and sign an account card.
100%. Yeah,
Yep.
I totally see that. Totally
And
see
this
Yeah.
that.
is
'Cause I've done the 90 minutes plus 2 hours in the branch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and this is the thesis, right? Like you're competing. We as community banks, credit unions, we are competing against the top 5 banks. We're competing against Chase. They've pumped billions of dollars into their own technology. We're competing against SoFi. We're competing against Chime. We're competing against Stripe Atlas. Like it's a national digital competition that we're engaged in. But I think what we're seeing here is that Dupaco's been able to make the digital experience excellent. And so when you have a digital experience that's on par or better than Chase's business online account opening is questionable, I would say. When you have a digital experience that can compete truly with these fintechs that are super funded and the top 5, what does it get back to? It gets back to relationships. And actually, Dupaco's got an advantage on the relationship front, right? People love going into the branch. They love the brand of the credit union and the mission. And so we're really like seeing an ability to compete and win against these huge institutions, which is great.
Go ahead, Tami.
I have to say, I always tell the team, nobody comes into the credit union just to look. Like you can go to the mall, so I'm just looking. That doesn't happen here. The people come in here because there's a bump in the road. There's something in their life that's different. But for all the rest of the routine stuff, they want digital. They want remote. And so we're here when they have a bump in their life in a way that some of the fintechs aren't, right? Because they don't have that option. They like to have both. And we have a very heavy younger population here. And I think this is part of what drives that, is that we offer both. We offer here's what you're going to do every day when stuff is just stuff. And here's what you do when there's that bump in the road. We're still right here. It offers a competitive advantage.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Gen Z, we all think they only want digital. It's not really the case. Because if you're going to buy your first house or going to buy your first car, whatever it is, there's a lot to know that you might need to ask about. Ben, it really follows on, like you were talking about, that credit unions can compete with the fintechs and the big banks with the right tools. So what do you see as credit unions' current like Achilles heel when it comes to digital member experience, and how can they solve for that, or in branch?
So I think I think the biggest problem that credit unions are facing from a digital experience perspective today is fragmented digital experiences, right? So it's one of 2 things. You either have a fragmented experience, and some of the things that you have that you offer are really good. So you might have a loan origination system set up that is actually pretty old and it's a bad experience, and you do most of your loans in branch anyway, and it's a lot. There's a lot of workflows that are embedded, and changing it is really difficult. But your deposit origination system online is really good, but it doesn't talk to your in-branch deposit origination system, and it doesn't talk to your loan origination system. So your members, if they're trying to benefit from all of the services that the credit union offers, and I think most folks are really trying to be the top of wallet credit union, own the financial relationship, provide all of the services that the end customer needs, which is something that the fintechs really struggle to do. If you're throwing people into these disjointed experiences, they're going to have a frustrating relationship with your credit union because they're frustrated when they're trying to get things done. And you as the credit union are not going to have a 360 view of that customer, right? You won't understand, oh, they dropped off on this. They actually really did want these 2 deposit accounts, but something got in the way. Like, you don't have a full view. And so what the Mantle platform is doing, and what the Alkami and Mantle platform when combined are doing, is really giving you that one platform and one experience that is fintech grade. It covers deposit origination online, deposit origination in branch, loan origination online, loan origination in branch, and then the digital experience all as one unified experience. That is game changing. I think 5% to 2% of the market today of banks and credit unions really actually has accomplished that. And so over the next 5 years, right, what we're trying to do together is change the market and make that digital experience world-class, so that there is no difference from a technology standpoint between Dupaco and Chase and SoFi and Chime. And that's really the vision that we're driving towards.
Yeah, and credit unions don't need that. Yeah. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Tami.
it's important to note that as of last week, we are completely out of any other deposit origination product we had. Everything runs through Mantle. And I hear some credit unions, they go a little bit and then they kind of stop because it gets harder. They go a little bit, and then you got to go all in, and because now you're frontline, whether you're on the phone or whether you're in the branch, everybody's coming through the same system. It makes a huge difference.
And you mentioned 7 fragmented onboarding screens and 3 disconnected systems, so all your data is all over the place. And I imagine too, it eases your vendor management time and everything
Training.
as well, and training, yes, as well.
Yeah, training is so much easier.
Yeah.
It's around, our team's estimated, it was a little over 4,000 hours that were saved of manual work. And when you're trying to manage 7 different systems and it goes to one, you can start to see how you're going to have less manual work, things are going to flow better, and you're going to have a better understanding of who your customers are, why they're walking in the door, a better ability to expand the relationship when that time comes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so what's been the feedback from your employees, Tami?
They really like it. They like the ease of use. They like that members can travel through it. There's a different mindset when you first start, as far as this is digital and now I have digital forms. And what do you mean I don't have a piece of paper I can take home with me? And that's a different mindset there. But boy, once they get onto it and they really understand it, they're like, yeah, I'm not going back. This is great. But it's a change, and change management has to come with that. But we would never go back. So this has been a really good experience for the employees too.
And what about your members? Any feedback from them?
They really like it. It's easier. They don't have to come in. We used to make people come in and sign a signature whenever they wanted to renew a CD. We've eliminated all of that. So a lot of the efficiencies we gained weren't even because Mantle helped us think differently. We looked at all of our other processes and said, well, how could this be different too? And how could this be different? And so that helped us. Not only the stuff that's coming through Mantle got more efficient, but some of the things we do outside of Mantle became more efficient too, because we looked at it through a whole new lens.
For sure. And Ben, I want to start with you on this question, but fraud protection. Obviously, fraud is a huge topic right now in the financial services space, but is particularly with the boost AI has given it, as well as helping to prevent it. How does the system ensure against fraud?
So I think to talk about fraud, we should talk about the scale that we're operating here too. Dupaco's over 3 billion in assets, 23 branches. This is a sizable footprint that we need to protect, right? And I think a lot of folks index towards manual checks when it comes to fraud, right? Someone's in branch, they're going to hand you a thing, you look at their face, and it's just like a manual process. Like it's almost like the person-to-person interaction, just you can wave your hands around a lot of the fraud checks that you would be doing online, right? And so I think that we've actually increased, we're running the same process for an online fraud check that we would for an in-branch fraud check. Now you can do little tweaks to say, hey, if it's in-branch, then do this or do that. But the same universe of fintech data sources, government data sources, anti-fraud data sources that are available when you're checking customers online, that's now available as you're doing it in-branch. And so as Tami was sort of saying, it's actually the case that as you automate more and more of this, you're going to have fewer and fewer errors and omissions and things to go back, and that means fewer and fewer things get through the cracks when it comes to fraud. So Mantle is partnered with a number of companies that help fight fraud. In this case, partnered with Alloy, and we're bringing leading industry experts, right? Like really some of the people who are on the most cutting edge of fighting fraud, and bringing them in as partners and having that conversation with the credit union. So when you go with a platform like Mantle, you're not just getting a code, right? You're also getting the partnership of the Mantle folks who are anti-fraud experts, the Alloy folks who are anti-fraud experts, and the ability to create this digital first approach, which drives outcomes.
Any follow up on that, Tami?
Yeah, I just pulled up some numbers here. 63% of our applications in the last year have been auto approved, which means we didn't have to touch it. I used to have one full-time person who would come in every morning and go through the online apps, manually look them up, do all the review, approve them or deny them. They spend about 20 minutes right now on the ones that do need a manual review, but it's so slick and efficient. And we're catching stuff we wouldn't have caught before, just because Alloy and the partnership between Alloy and Mantle is helping us really identify, again, a different way of thinking to be able to then move through the system in the online system. But yeah, I just looked, and 1% auto rejected. So the rest of them we had to look at, but a lot of them we needed to look at. And so it's working great.
Yeah. Yeah. And I always allow my guests to have the final thoughts before we wrap up. Ben, I'm going to start with you. What are your final thoughts for our credit union audience?
Just a big shout out to Tami. She's really driven a lot of success with this platform. This deployment, Mantle is online, Mantle's in the branch. We're doing business, we're doing consumer, we're doing all of the account types. We don't have another deposit opening platform. This is really the vision of the platform. And I think it's so, it just makes me so happy to see these really strong numbers when that vision comes to actualization. So I think they've done an incredible job. They've driven a digital experience for their members, which is world class. I don't know that you could point to a fintech or a bank that is offering the breadth of services that they're offering that has a significantly better experience, right? Like I think we're really getting to the cutting edge of what's possible in digital here. So just an expression of gratitude and congratulations to the team at Dupaco.
All right, take us home, Tami.
Yeah, no, it has been a great partnership. And from the very beginning, our vision was to get everything running through one system, seamless, the error reduction, the efficiencies, and Mantle was a great partner to help us through that. And Alkami, Alloy, it took all of it. And it's just, like I said, I couldn't be happier than I am with where we are today. And I know our leadership is as well happy with the results. And we're seeing those results in the numbers. We're seeing in deposit growth and all the things that when we set out to do this and we met with Mantle and said, we're going to do these things, and we listed out all of our key objectives, we've had all of them. So we're really pleased with that.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Sarah.